Did someone let the zoo animals on deck? Caroline Ashford grabbed a dinner roll and hurled it at the black woman's chest. It bounced off her navy blazer onto the polished deck. The Ashford family exploded in laughter. "Caroline, you're savage!" Richard slapped his knee. Daughter Brittany live-streamed on her phone. "OMG, my mom just threw food at the help." Son Trevor grabbed another roll. "Should I get her too?" More laughter. Phones appeared from the crowd. Maya Richardson calmly picked up the bread and placed it on a nearby table. She opened her leather portfolio, writing notes. The $50 million Yacht Meridian crown swayed beneath 15 wealthy guests forming a circle. The digital countdown read, "Regatta ceremony, 47 minutes." Have you ever watched predators circle prey, only to discover they'd cornered a lion? The Ashford family was about to learn the most expensive lesson of their lives. Caroline stepped closer, her Louboutin heels clicking against the teak deck. "Seriously, where did the catering company find this one? She's acting like she owns the place." Richard moved to flank his wife, champagne sloshing in his crystal glass. "Probably her first yacht job. Look how confused and lost she seems." His voice projected across the deck, drawing more wealthy guests into their cruel theater. Brittany angled her iPhone for the perfect live stream shot. Her Instagram live viewer count climbed steadily. 1,200, 1,400, 1,847 viewers watching in real time. "You guys, an epic family roast session is happening right now. Mom's totally handling this situation." Comments flooded her screen like digital applause. "Your family is absolutely iconic. This content is fire. Make her do something embarrassing." Trevor, 16 and desperate for parental approval, stage whispered with theatrical volume, "Maybe she doesn't understand basic English? Should we speak slower?" The family erupted in synchronized laughter, exchanging high fives like they'd just scored the winning touchdown in some twisted game. Maya continued writing methodically in her leather portfolio. Each cruel comment, each burst of laughter, each face in the growing crowd. Her Mont Blanc pen moved steadily across expensive paper, documenting everything with professional precision. "Hey, you!" Richard snapped his manicured fingers inches from Maya's composed face. "The champagne's getting warm over here, sweetheart. Time to earn your paycheck and do your actual job." Caroline addressed her children as if Maya were invisible furniture. "Kids, this is exactly why good education matters so much. See the clear difference between people like us and, well, people like that." The live stream audience exploded with engagement. Viewer count hit 2,300 and climbing. Brittany read choice comments aloud with glee. "Someone just said she looks so uncomfortable. Sarah Johnson donated $10 saying, 'Make her clean the deck on her hands and knees.'" Maya discreetly photographed the yacht's official registration numbers with her phone. She noted the precise timestamp, 3:47 p.m. Eastern. Her assistant had texted 20 minutes earlier. "All Ashford Maritime contracts prepared for final signature, ready to proceed with a billion-dollar merger?" She'd responded simply, "Hold all positions, still gathering comprehensive documentation." Trevor picked up a cocktail napkin from the bar and deliberately dropped it near Maya's Italian leather shoes. "Oops, looks like someone definitely needs to clean that up right now." More family laughter rippled across the deck. More phones appeared, recording every humiliating second. Caroline made exaggerated sweeping motions toward Maya with her jeweled hands. "Run along now, dear. Real adults are trying to have an important conversation here." She pushed imaginary crumbs in Maya's direction with theatrical disdain. "And please handle this entire mess while you're at it." Captain Steve approached Caroline with obvious professional concern etched on his weathered face. "Ma'am, there's a critical issue with our official guest manifest. We have an unexpected situation that requires—" "Steve!" Caroline cut him off with sharp irritation. I absolutely don't pay you good money to interrupt me with trivial staff problems. Handle whatever it is yourself. Captain Steve glanced at Maya with growing confusion flickering in his experienced eyes. Something on his administrative tablet didn't align with what he was witnessing, but Caroline had already dismissed him, turning back to her family's cruel entertainment with renewed enthusiasm. Maya's iPhone buzzed insistently against her blazer. Ashford Maritime Legal Department, urgent, flashed across the screen. She calmly declined the call and made another detailed note in her portfolio. The yacht's digital countdown display showed 23 minutes remaining until the regatta awards ceremony. "This is honestly getting boring," Brittany announced dramatically to her growing online audience. "She's not even reacting properly. Should we call yacht security to remove her?" Richard's grin widened with malicious anticipation. Let's see exactly how entitled and difficult she gets when pressured. The circle of wealthy guests tightened around Maya like a noose. Phones held high, recording every angle. The live stream count hit 2,847 viewers. Maya slowly closed her leather portfolio and looked directly at Caroline Ashford for the very first time. "Mrs. Ashford," she said in a voice quiet as steel, "I believe we need to discuss your husband's business. Immediately." The laughter died instantly. The yacht fell silent except for gentle waves lapping against the hull. Caroline's laugh shattered the momentary silence like breaking crystal. "Business? With Richard? Honey, you're literally the hired help." She threw her head back in theatrical amusement. "Did everyone hear that? The catering staff thinks she has actual business with my husband." The family's cruel laughter resumed with doubled intensity. Richard wiped tears from his eyes, his Rolex catching the sunlight. "Oh my God, Caroline, she actually believes she's somebody important. This is priceless." Brittany's live stream exploded with engagement. Viewer count jumped to 4,200 as she announced breathlessly to her phone, "You guys, the help just claimed she has business with my dad. This is getting absolutely insane." Comments flooded the screen faster than she could read them. "Delusional. Call yacht security. Make her scrub the deck." Trevor jumped at his golden opportunity for parental approval. "Business? What kind of business? Like serving drinks business? Or maybe cleaning toilets business?" His parents beamed with pride at his cutting wit. Other guests applauded his cruel creativity. Maya remained perfectly motionless, portfolio closed in her steady hands. The expensive Hermes leather caught the afternoon sunlight, revealing subtle gold embossing most hadn't noticed. Her voice stayed completely level despite the surrounding chaos. "Your husband's maritime shipping company, Ashford Maritime Holdings. There are several time-sensitive legal matters that require immediate—" "Enough!" Richard's face flushed deep crimson with explosive rage. His voice boomed across the harbor. "Steve, get security up here immediately. We have a completely unhinged staff member actively harassing my entire family." Captain Steve approached hesitantly, his administrative tablet trembling in his weathered hands. "Sir, I really need to discuss that guest manifest issue I mentioned earlier. There's significant confusion about—" "I said to handle the staff problem, not to waste my valuable time with boring paperwork nonsense." Richard's voice carried across the water to neighboring yachts. Heads turned from other decks to witness the commotion. Maya checked her Patek Philippe watch with practiced precision. 3:52 p.m. exactly. Her iPhone buzzed insistently against her blazer. This time she glanced at the illuminated screen. "Richard Ashford, CEO. Urgent, urgent, urgent call immediately." She calmly declined the call and made another detailed note in her portfolio. 2 harbor patrol officers in crisp official uniforms climbed aboard the yacht's stern platform. The younger officer looked genuinely confused by the chaotic scene before him. The senior officer, weathered by decades of maritime experience, surveyed the situation with professional, calculating eyes. "Officers, thank God you're finally here. Caroline rushed toward them with dramatic flair, her designer heels clicking rapidly across the teak deck. This unstable woman has been relentlessly harassing my entire family for over 20 minutes. She's clearly having some kind of mental breakdown and keeps claiming to have important business with my husband. We desperately need her removed immediately for everyone's safety. Steve the captain approached the senior officer quietly, discreetly showing his tablet screen. The officer's gray eyebrows raised noticeably. He whispered something back urgently. Steve nodded grimly and glanced toward Maya with newfound understanding. "Ma'am," the senior officer addressed Caroline with careful professionalism, "we'll need to examine everyone's official identification to sort this situation out properly and legally." "Identification?" Caroline's voice pitched dangerously higher. "Officer, just look at her appearance." She's obviously nothing more than delusional catering staff who's completely lost touch with reality. We're the Ashford family. We own this $50 million yacht. We own half the marina slips. Check your official records. Brittany kept her phone trained on the action, her live stream audience swelling past 5,000 viewers. "The actual police are here now? This is like a real criminal drama happening completely live on my stream." Maya reached smoothly into her tailored blazer and produced an elegant leather wallet. She handed the senior officer a professional card with practiced, unhurried calm that contrasted sharply with the surrounding chaos. The officer studied the card for a long, tense moment. His younger partner leaned over to examine it closely. Both men's professional expressions shifted subtly but unmistakably. "Massachusetts State Bar Association," the senior officer read aloud in a clear, carrying voice. "Maya Richardson, Esquire. Senior Partner, Corporate Acquisitions Division, MR Capital Partners." The yacht fell completely silent except for the gentle rhythmic slap of harbor waves against the hull. Caroline's face went ghostly white, all color draining from her carefully made-up features. That absolutely has to be fake. Anyone can print convincing fake business cards nowadays. Officer, surely you can see this is obviously some elaborate scam. "The bar registration number checks out perfectly," the junior officer announced quietly after typing rapidly on his official phone. "She's listed as senior partner at MR Capital Partners in Boston's financial district. Specializes in international maritime acquisitions." Richard's champagne glass slipped from suddenly nerveless fingers, shattering explosively on the polished deck. Crystal fragments scattered across expensive wood. That's completely impossible. You're making some terrible mistake." Maya opened her portfolio with deliberate precision and removed a sleek tablet computer. The screen displayed an active, high-definition video conference call. In the crystal-clear background, an impressive mahogany conference room was clearly visible, populated by several people in expensive, tailored business suits. "Gentlemen," Maya spoke directly to the tablet with quiet authority, "I'm currently documenting a developing situation that may significantly affect our ongoing acquisition negotiations. Please maintain your positions and stand by for further instructions." Through the tablet's high-quality speakers, a distinguished voice with a subtle Asian accent responded professionally. "Understood completely, Miss Richardson. Mr. Ashford's legal representatives remain present here. Should we temporarily pause the preliminary contract signing procedures?" Richard Ashford's shocked face appeared prominently on the tablet's split screen, clearly visible to everyone gathered on the yacht's deck. He was frozen mid-sentence, an expensive fountain pen suspended over official documents, seated at an imposing conference table with several well-dressed Asian executives. The live stream audience exploded with unprecedented engagement. 6,000 viewers, 7,000, 8,000. Comments flew past faster than human eyes could follow. "Wait, what is happening? Is this actually real? Oh my God, the Ashfords are completely screwed!" Caroline staggered backward unsteadily, desperately gripping the yacht's polished brass railing for support. "Richard? Richard! What is happening? What are you doing?" On the tablet screen, Richard looked up from his legal documents with complete confusion written across his features. Caroline? How are you? Maya? Is that really you? What are you doing on our family yacht? Maya's voice carried across both the yacht deck and the conference call with quiet, devastating authority that commanded instant attention from everyone present. Mr. Ashford, I'm currently documenting severe cultural sensitivity incidents involving your family that may require immediate review under Section 47C of our pending merger agreement. The color drained completely from Richard's face on the tablet screen like water from a punctured balloon. His expensive fountain pen clattered onto the conference table. Cultural. What incidents? Caroline, what have you done? What is she talking about? Maya turned the tablet toward Brittany's livestream camera with deliberate precision, ensuring the impressive conference room was clearly visible to her rapidly growing audience of 9,000 viewers. For the official record, I am Maya Richardson, senior partner and lead counsel representing Carter Pacific Group in their proposed $1.2 billion acquisition of Ashford Maritime Holdings. The words hit like physical blows. Caroline's champagne glass slipped from her suddenly nerveless fingers, joining Richard's shattered crystal on the expensive teak deck. The sound of breaking glass seemed to echo across the stunned harbor. "Billion?" Caroline whispered, her voice barely audible above the gentle lapping of waves. "Did you actually say $1 billion?" Trevor grabbed his sister's trembling arm with white knuckles. "Brittany, what's happening? What's Section 47C? Why is Dad on that screen?" Brittany's hands shook violently as she struggled to hold her phone steady. Comments exploded across her live stream faster than humanly possible to read. The lawyer was the victim all along. They're about to lose everything. Karma is coming for the Ashfords. Maya opened her leather portfolio with surgical precision, revealing pages of meticulous handwritten notes taken during their 47 minutes of systematic harassment. Your family threw food at my chest. They called me zoo animals, demanded I clean your deck like a servant, ordered security to arrest me for supposed harassment and trespassing. Her Mont Blanc pen moved steadily across the paper. All carefully documented, all live-streamed to thousands, all witnessed by official harbor patrol officers. The senior police officer stepped forward with professional authority. "Ma'am, for the record, we have captured everything on official body cameras from the precise moment we boarded this vessel." On the tablet screen, Richard's voice cracked with growing panic and desperation. "Maya, please listen to me. There has to be some terrible misunderstanding here. My family would never intentionally—" "Mr. Ashford," Maya interrupted with smooth, unshakable composure. "Your wife spent exactly 47 minutes treating me like hired domestic help. Your children filmed my humiliation for online entertainment. Your son suggested that I don't understand basic English. And your daughter live-streamed my degradation to thousands of viewers for social media profit and personal amusement." The mahogany conference room behind Richard buzzed with urgent whispers in rapid Mandarin. Several distinguished executives in expensive suits exchanged deeply concerned glances. Papers rustled. Chairs creaked as people shifted uncomfortably. Caroline found her voice, desperation creeping into every syllable. "We didn't know. How could we possibly know who you were? You looked like... You were dressed exactly like..." "Like what, Mrs. Ashford?" Maya's tone remained perfectly calm, like still water before a storm. Please finish that thought completely for our live stream audience of 9,000 viewers. The $50 million yacht fell completely silent. 9,000 viewers held their collective breath. Even the harbor gulls seemed to pause their cries. Caroline's mouth opened and closed repeatedly, but no sound emerged. Maya continued with surgical precision that cut deeper than any scalpel. "I've been personally negotiating this acquisition for exactly 8 months. Your husband and I have spoken 12 times by telephone. We've exchanged over 200 detailed emails regarding financial structures, legal frameworks, and operational integration. Yet somehow, seeing a black woman on your private yacht, you immediately assumed I was catering staff." Richard's face crumpled visibly on screen like paper in flames. Behind him, the Carter Pacific executives launched into an animated discussion in rapid-fire Mandarin. Documents were shuffled. Laptops snapped shut ominously. "Maya, please, I'm begging you." Richard's voice came through the speakers as a barely controlled panic. "This merger represents our family's entire future. Ashford Maritime currently owes $47 million to various creditors. Without this acquisition, we lose absolutely everything. The Hamptons house, this yacht, the company my grandfather built with his bare hands in 1952. I'm fully aware of your precarious financial situation, Mr. Ashford." Maya scrolled methodically through data on her tablet. "Which makes your family's behavior particularly illuminating." She turned to address the Carter Pacific executives directly through the high-definition video connection. "Mr. Carter, as we discussed extensively in our preliminary negotiations, cultural sensitivity and anti-discrimination policies are absolutely fundamental to Carter Pacific's core corporate values. Section 47C of our proposed merger agreement specifically states that any documented bias incidents automatically trigger a mandatory 14-day comprehensive review period." An elderly Asian man with distinguished silver hair and wire-rimmed glasses leaned into the camera frame with grave concern. "Miss Richardson, how extensive and comprehensive is this documentation you've gathered during today's incident?" 47 minutes of continuous live-stream video watched by over 9,000 viewers and counting. Complete Harbor Patrol body camera footage from 2 officers. Written witness statements from 15 yacht guests who observed the harassment. Physical evidence of food deliberately thrown at my person. Maya's voice never wavered or betrayed emotion. Plus detailed handwritten notes documenting every discriminatory comment made by all 4 family members with precise timestamps. Mr. Carter nodded gravely, his expression growing more serious. "Mr. Ashford, under these circumstances, perhaps we should postpone today's contract signing to allow for proper legal review of these allegations." "No!" Caroline shrieked desperately, lunging toward the tablet with wild eyes. "Please, you don't understand the situation. We made one terrible mistake. We're not racist people. We actively support black causes. We donate thousands to charities." The live stream comments erupted like digital fireworks. "Too late for excuses. Consequences are coming. Look at them begging now." Maya closed her portfolio with a soft snap that somehow carried more devastating weight than Caroline's desperate screaming. "Mr. Carter," Maya said with quiet finality, "I strongly recommend we immediately suspend all negotiations pending a comprehensive review of Ashford Maritime's cultural compliance practices. Carter Pacific Group's international reputation for ethical business practices must remain completely unblemished." Richard's voice came through the speakers as a broken whisper. "Maya, please have mercy. My children's college funds, Caroline's ongoing medical treatments, everything we've built over 3 generations." Maya looked directly at Caroline, who was now openly sobbing with mascara streaming down her cheeks. "Mrs. Ashford, 47 minutes ago, you asked where they found zoo animals like me. You threw food at my chest for entertainment. You ordered me to clean your deck like a servant." Caroline collapsed to her knees on the crystal-scattered deck, designer dress soaking up spilled champagne. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please don't destroy my family." Maya checked her Patek Philippe watch with calm precision. "The regatta ceremony begins in exactly 18 minutes. I suggest we continue this conversation somewhere more private and professional." She looked directly at the live stream camera one final time. Sometimes the help owns the company. The viewer count hit 12,000 as Brittany's phone screen went black. Maya led the shell-shocked Ashford family through the yacht's main salon into the private conference room. The polished mahogany table reflected their pale, devastated faces like a mirror of impending consequences. Through the floor-to-ceiling panoramic windows, other luxury yachts continued their elegant regatta celebrations. completely oblivious to the financial devastation and corporate reckoning unfolding just yards away. The harbor patrol officers positioned themselves discreetly by the entrance, their body cameras still recording every word for official documentation. Captain Steve stood nearby, his weathered face a mixture of professional concern and obvious relief that the guest manifest mystery had finally been resolved. Before we proceed further, let me clarify your current situation with absolutely precise numbers. Maya began with surgical calm, opening her tablet to display comprehensive financial documents that made Richard visibly wince. Ashford Maritime Holdings. Current market valuation of exactly $847 million. However, your outstanding debts and financial obligations total $47.3 million. Your quarterly operational losses for the past 18 consecutive months average $8.2 million per quarter, with the trend accelerating downward. Richard stared at the illuminated screen displaying his company's financial entrails, his face growing more ashen with each devastating number. Every figure was accurate to the penny, representing months of thorough due diligence investigation. Maya scrolled deliberately to the next comprehensive financial screen. Chen Pacific Group's proposed acquisition package, $1.2 billion distributed over 18 carefully structured months. Your family's 67% controlling ownership stake would net approximately $804 million after mandatory debt restructuring, legal fees, and regulatory compliance costs. She paused for emphasis, letting the numbers sink in completely. This merger represents your only viable path to avoid mandatory bankruptcy filing within exactly 14 months. Caroline gripped the conference table's polished edge with white knuckles, her manicured nails leaving small scratches in the expensive wood. How do you possibly know our private financial information in such detail? Mrs. Ashford, I've spent the past 8 months conducting exhaustive due diligence on every aspect of your company's operations, finances, and legal standing. I know your Hampton estate carries a $12.4 million mortgage with balloon payments due next January. This yacht itself has $4.8 million in outstanding loans through 3 different maritime lending institutions. Your son's exclusive private school tuition costs $85,000 annually. Your daughter's trust fund, established by your late father-in-law, was completely liquidated 6 months ago. Trevor's young face crumpled with the devastating realization. My college fund? Harvard early decision? Liquidated entirely 6 months ago to cover basic operating expenses and keep the company functional, Maya replied without a trace of emotion in her professional voice. Your parents chose not to inform you of this decision. Brittany's iPhone continued recording everything, her live stream audience having grown to over 15,000 viewers, but she'd completely stopped reading the flood of comments. The full weight of reality was finally penetrating her privileged worldview. Maya turned her attention to address the high-definition video conference where Richard sat surrounded by increasingly concerned Carter Pacific executives whose expressions had grown progressively more serious throughout the proceedings. Mr. Ashford, please explain to your potential business partners the comprehensive cultural sensitivity training programs your company currently provides to employees at all levels. Richard's mouth moved silently for several seconds before any coherent words managed to emerge from his throat. We don't currently have any formal diversity programs or cultural training initiatives in place. I see. Maya made a careful note in her portfolio. And could you describe your current workforce demographic composition for the Carter Pacific Board's information? Predominantly white male employees across all departments and management levels. The distinguished Carter Pacific executives exchanged meaningful glances that required absolutely no translation. Mr. Carter leaned forward with obvious professional concern etched across his weathered features. Maya continued her methodical corporate dissection with the precision of a skilled surgeon. Section 47C of our Comprehensive Merger Agreement, subsection 12, paragraph 3, specifically states in unambiguous legal language, Any documented incidents of racial bias, systematic discrimination, or cultural insensitivity by senior management or immediate family members automatically trigger mandatory suspension of all negotiations pending thorough comprehensive review by independent third parties. She scrolled deliberately to highlight text on her tablet, ensuring everyone could see the exact legal language. The mandatory review process requires a minimum 14-day investigation period conducted by qualified external auditors. During the entire suspension period, all financial commitments and payment schedules are completely frozen. Your creditors, Mr. Ashford, have already confirmed they will not extend payment deadlines under any circumstances. Richard's voice cracked audibly through the conference speakers, desperation seeping into every syllable. Maya, our largest creditor payment deadline is due in exactly 9 days. Without the merger's first scheduled installment, we default immediately on everything. I'm completely aware of your timeline constraints, Maya replied with unshakable calm. Maritime National Bank requires $23.7 million by February 15th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Failure to meet this payment triggers immediate asset seizure procedures across all holdings. Caroline began crying again, quietly this time, the fight having completely drained out of her designer-clad body. The reality of losing everything was finally penetrating her privileged bubble. Maya opened yet another meticulously prepared document on her tablet. However, there is one alternative path forward that could benefit all parties involved. She looked directly at Caroline with measured professional assessment. Chen Pacific Group values genuine corporate responsibility and systematic reform over simple punishment for punishment's sake. Hope flickered desperately in Richard's bloodshot eyes, visible on the conference screen. Option 1, Maya continued with business-like precision that left no room for negotiation, requires complete public accountability and systematic organizational change. Mrs. Ashford issues a comprehensive public apology, live-streamed to the exact same audience that witnessed today's discriminatory events. All 4 family members complete mandatory cultural sensitivity certification through Harvard Business School's prestigious executive education program. Total cost, $125,000. She scrolled down methodically to reveal additional requirements. Additionally, Ashford Maritime immediately establishes a $500,000 annual scholarship fund specifically for underrepresented students pursuing maritime careers. I will serve as advisory board chair without any compensation whatsoever. That might be financially manageable, Richard whispered with desperate hope. Maya held up one authoritative finger. I haven't finished outlining the complete requirements. Your company implements what will be known as the Richardson Protocol. Mandatory quarterly diversity training for every employee, anonymous bias reporting systems with guaranteed protection for whistleblowers, and measurable hiring targets for minorities and women at all levels. An independent third-party auditing firm monitors compliance monthly with public reporting. The Carter Pacific executives nodded approvingly among themselves. This was exactly their preferred type of ethical business practice and corporate social responsibility. Option 2, Maya's voice grew noticeably colder, is considerably simpler to implement. I recommend immediate permanent suspension of all merger negotiations. Today's extensively documented footage gets submitted to the Maritime Industry Ethics Board, the Better Business Bureau, and forwarded directly to all your existing clients. Multiple discrimination lawsuits follow within 30 days from various civil rights organizations. Caroline looked up with red-rimmed eyes that had cried away most of her expensive makeup. What happens to our family if we choose option 2? Maya's expression remained completely neutral and professional. Maritime National Bank seizes all your assets in exactly 9 days. The yacht, both homes, your remaining investment accounts. Your husband's reputation in international shipping ends permanently and irreversibly. Your family declares Chapter 11 bankruptcy within 60 days. The luxurious conference room fell completely silent except for the gentle rocking motion of the yacht and Caroline's quiet, defeated sobbing. Maya checked her Patek Philippe watch with practiced precision. The Regatta Award ceremony begins in exactly 12 minutes. Mr. Carter, what is Carter Pacific Group's final decision? The elderly executive spoke carefully, weighing each word. Shh. Miss Richardson, if the Ashford family agrees to option 1 in its complete entirety, including all public accountability measures, Carter Pacific is prepared to proceed with a modified implementation timeline. Modified in what specific way? Richard asked with desperate hope. Mr. Carter's expression was stern, but not entirely unkind. The full merger proceeds exactly as originally planned, but your first payment is reduced by precisely $625,000, the exact combined cost of the scholarship fund and Harvard certification program. This demonstrates immediate financial commitment to genuine change rather than empty promises. Maya nodded with professional approval. Completely acceptable terms. Mr. Ashford, what is your family's decision? Through the tablet's crystal-clear screen, Richard looked at his wife's completely broken expression, his children's shocked faces, and the Carter Pacific executives waiting patiently for his final answer. We accept, he whispered with complete defeat. We accept option 1 completely and unconditionally. Maya opened her portfolio and removed a pre-prepared legal document with official letterhead. Sign here, Mrs. Ashford. This legally commits your entire family to every single requirement I've outlined, with severe financial penalties for any non-compliance. Caroline's hand trembled violently as she signed her name in shaky cursive. Excellent. Maya stood gracefully and extended her hand to Caroline with professional courtesy. Mrs. Ashford, your public apology will be live-streamed in exactly 1 hour. I suggest you prepare thoughtful, sincere remarks about human dignity, mutual respect, and the serious consequences of prejudice. She looked directly at Brittany's phone, still dutifully recording everything. And Miss Ashford, your live-stream audience deserves to witness genuine accountability and personal growth, not just superficial entertainment. Maya gathered her materials with calm, practiced efficiency. Gentlemen, she addressed the tablet conference, please proceed immediately with the modified merger timeline. Richardson Protocol implementation begins Monday morning. As she walked toward the conference room door with quiet authority, Caroline's broken voice stopped her. Miss Richardson, why did you choose option 1? You could have destroyed us completely and permanently. Maya paused without turning around, considering her response carefully. Mrs. Ashford, destroying people creates absolutely nothing of lasting value. Building better systems creates permanent positive change. The yacht's digital display showed, Regatta ceremony, 8 minutes remaining. Maya smiled slightly with quiet satisfaction. Perfect timing, as always. 1 hour later, Caroline Ashford stood on the yacht's main deck facing Brittany's iPhone camera. Her designer makeup had been carefully reapplied, but her eyes still showed traces of earlier tears. The live stream audience had swelled to 18,000 viewers, word having spread across social media about the dramatic yacht confrontation. My name is Caroline Ashford, she began, her voice trembling slightly. 1 hour ago, I committed inexcusable acts of racism against Miss Maya Richardson. I threw food at her. I called her zoo animals. I treated her like hired help because of the color of her skin. The comments section exploded with reactions, but Caroline continued reading from carefully prepared notes. I have no excuse for my behavior. I was raised better than this. My actions were disgraceful, hurtful, and represent everything wrong with privileged ignorance. Her voice cracked. I am deeply, profoundly sorry to Miss Richardson, to my children who witnessed my shameful behavior, and to everyone who saw how cruelly I acted. Richard appeared on screen via video call from the Carter Pacific conference room. I want to add my apology as CEO of Ashford Maritime. My wife's actions don't reflect our family's values, but they reveal blind spots we must address immediately. Trevor stepped forward awkwardly. I'm sorry, too. I made jokes about you not understanding English. That was racist and stupid. I'm going to do better. Brittany lowered her phone briefly. I live-streamed your humiliation for entertainment. That was wrong. I deleted the original video and I'm donating all the money I made from donations tonight to the NAACP. Maya watched from the yacht's upper deck, taking notes as always. The apologies seemed genuine, born from real consequence rather than empty social media performance. Within 24 hours, the transformation began. Ashford Maritime's board held an emergency meeting. Caroline was immediately removed from all company positions. Her membership at Hampton's Country Club was suspended pending review. 3 major charity boards where she served requested her resignation. The Richardson Protocol implementation started Monday morning. Maya arrived at Ashford Maritime's Boston headquarters at 8 a.m. sharp, carrying the same leather portfolio that had documented the yacht incident. "Good morning, everyone," she addressed the assembled employees in the main conference room. "I'm Maya Richardson, and I'll be implementing new diversity and inclusion initiatives here." The staff, indeed overwhelmingly white and male, as Richard had admitted, shifted uncomfortably in their seats. "Let's start with statistics," Maya continued, opening her tablet. "Current workforce, 127 employees. Minorities, 11 people, representing 8.7%. Women in leadership positions, 2 out of 23 managers. These numbers will change." She outlined the comprehensive plan. Monthly unconscious bias training for all staff. Anonymous reporting system for discrimination incidents handled by external firm Jackson and Associates. Hiring quotas. 40% of new positions reserved for underrepresented candidates within 18 months. "But this isn't just about numbers," Maya explained. "It's about creating culture where everyone belongs." The first Richardson Scholarship recipients were announced within 60 days. Maya sat on the selection committee, reviewing applications from promising Black and Hispanic students pursuing maritime careers. Marcus Williams, 19, from inner-city Baltimore, had dreamed of becoming a ship captain since childhood. His acceptance letter to Maine Maritime Academy came with full tuition coverage. "I can't believe this is real," he said during the scholarship ceremony at Boston Harbor. 6 months ago, I was working double shifts at McDonald's trying to save for college." Caroline attended the ceremony as required, sitting in the front row. When Marcus mentioned growing up in poverty, she wiped away tears. This wasn't performance. She was finally understanding the privilege she'd taken for granted. The third-party auditing began immediately. Lighthouse Consulting conducted monthly reviews of Ashford Maritime's culture. Their first report was damning. Widespread instances of casual racism, sexist jokes, and exclusionary behavior among senior staff. But subsequent reports showed measurable improvement. Employee satisfaction surveys revealed dramatic changes. Anonymous comments shifted from complaints about PC culture to appreciation for inclusive leadership training. "I never realized how my jokes made others feel unwelcome," wrote one senior manager. "The training opened my eyes." By month 6, Ashford Maritime had hired 47 new employees. 22 were minorities, 28 were women. The company's first Black department head, former Navy officer Jennifer Torres, was promoted to head of operations. "Maya Richardson didn't just save this company financially," Jennifer told the Boston Globe. "She saved its soul." The ripple effects spread throughout the maritime industry. Other shipping companies, watching Ashford's transformation, began implementing similar programs voluntarily. The American Maritime Association adopted Richardson Protocol standards as recommended best practices. Harvard Business School requested permission to create a case study. The Ashford Transformation, How Strategic Accountability Drives Systemic Change, became required reading in their executive education program. Maya's approach went viral beyond maritime circles. The hashtag #QuietPower generated over 2.3 million posts across social platforms. Her methodology documentation, strategic leverage, systemic solutions over personal revenge was studied and replicated. Corporate executives facing discrimination complaints began asking, "What would Maya Richardson do?" The family's personal transformation proved equally dramatic. Caroline completed Harvard's diversity certification program, finishing in the top 10% of her class. Her final project examined the psychology of privileged blindness, using her own yacht incident as primary source material. Trevor enrolled in Baltimore Community College, volunteering with Marcus Williams's mentorship program for inner-city youth interested in maritime careers. "I want to help kids who look nothing like me," he explained in his college admission essay. Brittany changed her major from fashion marketing to social justice communications. Her senior thesis analyzed how social media can amplify discrimination or accountability. Richard thrived under the new corporate culture. Ashford Maritime's reputation improved dramatically. Carter Pacific executives praised the company's transformation in industry publications. Stock value increased 23% as ethical investors took notice. "Best decision we ever made," Richard told Forbes magazine. "Maya Richardson didn't just save our business, she made us better people." The scholarship fund grew beyond its original scope. Anonymous donations poured in from industry leaders inspired by the program's success. By year 2, 89 students had received full maritime education funding. 1 year after the yacht incident, Maya stood in the same Hamptons Harbor. This time she was the honored guest at the Ashford Maritime Diversity Excellence Awards ceremony. Caroline approached her with genuine warmth. "Maya, I know I can never undo what I did that day, but I hope I can spend the rest of my life proving I learned from it." Maya smiled, the same quiet confidence she'd shown facing their cruelty. "Caroline, transformation is a process. You're doing the work." The ceremony concluded with Marcus Williams' speech as he prepared for his final year at Maritime Academy. "A year ago, I thought people like me didn't belong in this industry. Maya Richardson and the Richardson Protocol proved that when we change systems, we change lives." Thunder rumbled overhead as the evening regatta began. Maya watched expensive yachts glide across familiar waters, their diverse crews now reflecting the industry's evolution. Her phone buzzed with a text from her assistant. "Portland Maritime requesting Richardson Protocol implementation. The San Francisco Shipping Union wants consultation. International Maritime Organization asking about global standards." Maya smiled and typed back, "Schedule them all. We have work to do." The yacht incident lasted 47 minutes. Its impact would reshape an entire industry for generations. 2 years after the yacht incident, Maya Richardson sat in her corner office overlooking Boston Harbor. Through floor-to-ceiling windows, she watched diverse maritime crews loading cargo ships, a sight that would have been impossible before the Richardson Protocol transformed the industry. Her assistant knocked. "Miss Richardson, the International Maritime Organization is ready for your video call about global standards implementation." Maya smiled, adjusting the same navy blazer she'd worn that day on the yacht. Some things never changed. Her commitment to quiet dignity remained constant, even as her influence had grown exponentially. The numbers told the story of systematic transformation. Since that 47-minute confrontation, 847 similar discrimination incidents had been reported and resolved using Maya's documentation methodology. Her approach, strategic preparation, economic leverage, and building better systems, had become the gold standard for corporate accountability. 23 states had adopted maritime industry anti-discrimination legislation directly inspired by the Richardson case. The Federal Maritime Administration created mandatory bias reporting requirements for all licensed shipping operations. The International Shipping Council implemented global sensitivity standards across 47 countries. Maya's phone buzzed with a text from Marcus Williams, now Captain Williams of the merchant vessel Maya R., named in her honor. "Miss Richardson, we just docked in Singapore. My crew is 60% minorities, 40% women. The change you created is sailing worldwide." The ripple effects had spread far beyond maritime industries. Maya's quiet power philosophy was taught in business schools globally. Her memoir, Strategic Dignity topped bestseller lists in 12 countries. Corporate executives facing discrimination now asked, what would Maya Richardson do? The Ashford family's transformation remained the most visible success story. Caroline had become a leading diversity consultant, her Harvard certification opening doors to companies seeking authentic change. Her speaking fees went entirely to expanding the Richardson Scholarship Fund, which now supported 234 students annually. Trevor graduated from college with honors, his thesis on economic incentives for social justice, winning national recognition. He joined Ashford Maritime as head of diversity initiatives, the first family member to earn his position through merit rather than inheritance. Brittany's documentary, 47 Minutes, How One Woman Changed Everything, premiered at Sundance Film Festival. The film followed 5 companies implementing Richardson Protocol standards, showing how strategic accountability creates lasting cultural shifts. Richard had thrived as CEO under the new inclusive culture. Ashford Maritime's revenue increased 340% as ethical investors and diverse clients flocked to support the transformed company. Maya Richardson didn't just save our business, he told Harvard Business Review. She taught us that doing right is good business. But Maya's proudest achievement was the quiet revolution she'd sparked in individual lives. Her LinkedIn messages overflowed with stories from people who'd found courage to document discrimination, demand accountability, and create change. A black engineer in Seattle wrote, "I used your methodology when my supervisor made racist comments. Instead of quitting, I documented everything and presented solutions. Result? He was removed, I was promoted, and the company adopted bias training. Thank you for showing us how to fight smart." A Latina teacher in Phoenix shared, "Your book taught me that dignity doesn't mean silence. I reported discrimination in my school district using your documentation techniques. They implemented district-wide sensitivity training. My students now see leadership that looks like them." Maya's approach had proven that individual courage, when strategically applied, could reshape entire systems. She hadn't just won a single battle, she'd changed how battles were fought. Her phone rang. The caller ID showed the White House. "Miss Richardson, this is President Biden's Chief of Staff. The President would like to discuss your methodology for a national initiative on workplace discrimination. Are you available next week?" Maya looked out at Boston Harbor, where the yacht Meridian Crown still docked occasionally. Caroline had donated it to the Maritime Education Foundation, where it now served as a floating classroom for underprivileged students learning navigation and seamanship. Full circle. "I'll make time," Maya replied, "but I have one condition. Any national program must include measurable outcomes, independent oversight, and real consequences for non-compliance. We build systems that last, not programs that fade." As evening approached, Maya walked to Faneuil Hall, where she was scheduled to deliver the keynote address at the National Diversity Leadership Conference. The audience would include 2,000 corporate executives, civil rights leaders, and young professionals seeking to create change in their own organizations. Her speech title, "The Power of Strategic Dignity: How 47 Minutes Changed an Industry." But Maya knew her real message went deeper than industry transformation. She'd proven that responding to hatred with strategic intelligence was more powerful than responding with anger, that documenting injustice was more effective than simply enduring it, that building better systems created more lasting change than destroying bad actors. Standing at the podium, Maya looked out at an audience that reflected the diversity she'd fought to create. She began with the same quiet confidence she'd shown on that yacht 2 years earlier. "Have you ever been dismissed so completely that people forgot you were human? I have. And what I learned in those 47 minutes changed not just my life, but an entire industry." She paused, letting the words settle. Today, I want to share 3 principles that can transform any organization, any industry, any system where discrimination exists. First, document everything. Second, understand the economics. Third, build solutions, not just consequences. The audience leaned forward, phones and tablets ready to capture every word. Because at the end of the day, we have a choice. We can let discrimination break us, or we can use it to break discriminatory systems. We can respond with anger, or we can respond with strategy. We can seek revenge, or we can create revolution. Maya's voice grew stronger, carrying the authority of someone who'd turned humiliation into transformation. The Ashford family thought they were entertaining themselves at my expense. Instead, they funded a movement. Their 47 minutes of cruelty created decades of progress. Their attempt to diminish me became the platform that amplified my voice worldwide. The standing ovation lasted 3 minutes. After her speech, Maya was approached by dozens of audience members sharing their own stories of discrimination and seeking guidance on creating change. A young black woman from Detroit described harassment at her tech company. A Latino man from Denver explained bias in his law firm. An Asian American woman detailed exclusion from her investment bank's leadership track. To each person, Maya gave the same advice: document, strategize, build. Driving home through Boston's Harbor District, Maya reflected on the journey from victim to victor to architect of change. That yacht confrontation had lasted 47 minutes, but its impact would reshape how America confronts discrimination for generations. Her final thought before sleep. Tomorrow, she would review applications for the Richardson Leadership Institute, a new program training the next generation of strategic diversity advocates. The work continued. The quiet revolution spread, and Maya Richardson's legacy grew stronger with every person who chose strategic dignity over silent suffering. Your voice matters. Your story matters. Your quiet power can change the world. Have you witnessed discrimination in your workplace, community, or industry? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience could inspire someone else to document, strategize, and build the change they want to see. Remember Maya's lesson. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. You don't need anger to create accountability. Sometimes the most profound changes come from the calmest voices armed with the strongest strategies. Subscribe to Black Voices Uncut for more stories of strategic triumph over systematic discrimination. Hit that notification bell, because every story of quiet power inspires someone else to find their voice and create lasting change. Share this video with someone who needs to see proof that dignity always defeats degradation, and that strategic thinking transforms temporary pain into permanent progress. The revolution starts with your story. What will you document today?
The story you heard today wasn't cleaned up. It was told exactly as it happened. At Black Voices Uncut, we believe that's the only way truth can live. If you felt something, hit like, comment, and your reaction, and subscribe. Every week, we bring you voices that refuse to be silenced.